All right, here we are in the famous Mummy Cemetery in Guanajuato, Mexico. Going to take a little tour, show you what it's about. As you can see here, plenty of tombs actually in the earth. And then they have the mausoleum walls there. Everywhere. A little bit windy today, so hopefully that doesn't mess up our audio too much. Very incredible place here. Apparently a percentage of all the bodies that are buried here will naturally mummify, and I think that has to do with the weather conditions and maybe the soils. I don't know exactly, but I think somewhere in the range of maybe 10 to 15% of the bodies will naturally mummify. My wife's grandparents' grave is somewhere around here. It would be very hard to find, but it's somewhere around here. This place was actually featured on a show called Scariest Places on Earth. I think it was an ABC show or ABC Family show in the very, very early 2000s. And what we're going to do after this is we're actually going to go into the Mummy Museum, which is just on the other side of this mausoleum wall over here. So hopefully we'll be able to get in there, maybe do a little bit of filming or at least some still shots and show you what some of the mummies look like. It's actually thought that this cemetery may have many spirits that roam around the cemetery grounds here, especially during Dia de los Muertos, which is the Mexican Day of the Dead celebration. Maybe if we're lucky, we'll have a spirit or two try to communicate with us while we're here. The way this cemetery is set up, everybody that's buried here only has a certain amount of time that they're allowed to be buried. And I believe that's because there are only a few cemeteries in the city, and basically the family, the living members of the family, will have to pay a certain amount of money to keep the body here for a lifetime. And if they're not able to come up with the money, what will happen is they will pull the body from the tombs, and then it's up to the parents, it's up to the living family members to either one, have it cremated or maybe buried at another cemetery or something like that. But this term right here, as far as I know, this term right here means that that person's family has paid to keep that person entombed in that location for life. So that person will never be exhumed or pulled out of their tomb and relocated. That looks like a fairly new burial right there. This burial right here looks very small. I wonder if that was a child. I mean, we're looking at from here to there. That's only maybe 3.5 to 4 feet at most. So I have to think that's maybe a child. Now, we're going to take you to a little bit more formal area where the little mortuary is. And there are some staircases that, from what I understand, lead directly in to the Mummy Museum. And I think there's one right there, but I believe they're closed off. And you cannot get in there from the cemetery. You basically have to go into the Mummy Museum to see exactly where that area is. Yeah, on the show Scariest Places on Earth, they actually had some college students that were challenged to come here and spend the night in the cemetery. In this gateway right here, stairway down into the museum, they were able to access that on the show. All right, we're going to cut here and we're going to come back from a different section of the cemetery.